listen up, because the chaos around Celtic just took another twist. And I've got three massive stories for you. From a rare, fiery sit-down with Dermot Desmond attitude to a message from Wilfried Nancy, the board simply cannot ignore Martin. And the last one, it involves Calmac, Kieran Tierney, and a dig that has the whole support laughing. So stick with me right to the end. We have 6 news a day to keep you updated with the mighty Celtic. Hit that subscribe button and be part of it. Let me take you straight into this one, because what's been swirling around the Celtic boardroom feels exactly like one of those Glasgow storms where the rain hits sideways and you start wondering why you even bothered leaving the house. And in the middle of all this wind and thunder, Dermot Desmond, the man who somehow manages to be everywhere and nowhere at the same time, hovering over the club like a ghost wandering through Sucky Hall at closing time. Except now the ghost has walked right into the spotlight, and suddenly every bit of tension that's been simmering has burst into full flame. What Andrew Smith shared about meeting Desmond all those years ago tells you everything. The man doesn't just keep his distance from the support, he cultivates it, he demands it, he treats closeness like something dangerous, like letting the ordinary Celtic faithful anywhere near his world might contaminate it. And when you read how he admitted outright that he can't stand the reactions of supporters or the noise around decisions he makes, it starts to make perfect sense why the gulf between the boardroom and the stands has grown wider than ever. And then comes Ross Desmond wandering out at the AGM like someone handed him a microphone and forgot to warn him it was live. One speech, one accusation, one wee meltdown, and suddenly the AGM collapses faster than a Rangers title challenge in April. You could almost hear half of Paradise groaning and the other half laughing just to stop themselves crying. Because if you strip the politics away, it's simple. The Desmonds don't like being challenged, and the support doesn't like being treated like an inconvenience. What really sticks with me is how the elder Desmond told that journalist he doesn't get praise when Celtic win, only blame when they lose, as if that makes him unique. Welcome to football, my friend. Calmac bang in a last-minute screamer. Dyson rip through a defense. The team bring home a trophy, and our folk aren't standing around applauding accountants, but let a season wobble, let a manager walk out, let the squad fall short because cash wasn't spent properly, and suddenly fingers start pointing. That isn't unfair. That's the job. And still, he wakes up at 5:30 every morning, scans football sites, follows European leagues, watches every Celtic match, but always from a distance. Devoted, but detached. Powerful, but hidden. Loving the club, but only on his own terms. It's loyalty wrapped in business, passion filtered through control, and maybe that's the whole problem. The boardroom wants order. The support wants honesty. The team wants stability. And somewhere between those three, the wires keep crossing and the sparks keep flying. So let me ask you something that I know will get your blood going. Do you honestly believe Celtic can move forward properly while the man pulling the strings refuses to step out of the shadows and actually face the reality of what the club has become? Hit that subscribe button. Lads, let's G it loyalty till we hit 1,500 mad Celtic daffs. Settle in, because this one's got me more excited than a last-minute winner under the lights at Paradise. After all the chaos, noise, and drifting about looking like a club without a compass, suddenly there's a name landing on the table that actually feels like it could shift the whole atmosphere around Celtic. And it's not coming from agents, rumour merchants, or pundits who can't tell the Clyde from the canal. It's coming from the one man who knows Wilfried Nancy better than anyone in football, Antoine Gouldner, a guy who spent more than a decade side by side with him, not just watching him from a distance, but living the graft day in, day out. And when someone like that starts speaking, you listen. You absolutely listen. What hits me straight away is the way Gouldner talks about Nancy as if he's a craftsman rather than one of these ego-inflated modern managers who think shouting on a touchline makes them a genius. This isn't a bloke who stumbled into coaching because he fancied the limelight. He's studied the game like someone learning a language from scratch, watching, questioning, digging into every detail. You can almost picture him in the early hours, coffee in hand, analyzing patterns of play, while half of Glasgow is still asleep. And after what we've had recently with the board drifting and the team looking like it's stuck between eras, that kind of dedication feels like a proper breath of fresh air. But what really hits home for me is the emotional side of it. According to Guldner, Nancy wants his players to feel joy. Imagine that, joy at a time when the squad's been playing with the weight of the world on their shoulders. Here's a manager who wants his footballers to express themselves, take risks, make mistakes, and actually grow from it. That is pure Celtic. That's the club's DNA, from Lisbon to now. Attacking intent, bravery, movement, spark. None of this cautious, rigid stuff that leaves the team frozen like the traffic on Sucky Hall when it starts raining sideways. And then there's the humility. Nancy doesn't believe anyone is bigger than the team. Not him, not the stars, nobody. Considering the soap opera we've had around certain personalities lately, that is exactly the sort of grounding the club needs. Structure, creativity, unity. This is a man who's coached everything from the kids to the reserves, someone who's deliberately stepped down categories just to develop his ideas. That's not ego, that's obsession, the good kind. What makes this even more exciting is the timing. With the support crying out for identity, direction, and something to believe in again, this insight into Nancy's philosophy feels like a signpost, a manager who wants to build a culture, not just a starting 11, someone who sees mistakes as part of growth instead of something to punish, someone who would embrace the pressure of Glasgow rather than hide from it like a certain club with a blue badge tends to do whenever Europe rolls around. So here's what I want to know, and I want you to answer me honestly. If Wilfried Nancy is truly the man the club is speaking to behind the scenes, do you think Celtic should take the leap and trust a deep-thinking, fearless builder of identity over the so-called big names who come with flash but no foundation? Hit that subscribe button. Lads, let's G it loudy till we hit 1,500 mad Celtic dafts. You know that feeling when the whole week's been heavy, the club's had more noise swirling round it than Sucky Hall on a Saturday night, and you're just begging for one moment, one spark, one reminder of who we are. Well, Calmac only went and delivered it in the most Calmac way possible. I swear, the timing of that strike against St Mirren was so perfect it could have powered half of Glasgow, and honestly, after watching the Scotland lads popping screamers for fun, Tierney, McTominay, McLean, the captain clearly decided he wasn't about to let them hog the limelight. Not a chance. Not when there were Celtic points on the line. And the best bit, Calmac absolutely roasting Kieran Tierney afterwards, telling him he'd only scored the 4th best goal of the week. That's the kind of cheeky fire you only get from someone totally at home in his boots, carrying the weight of the club, but still laughing while doing it. Meanwhile, our pals across the river would be writing an entire documentary if one of their players hit a shot half as clean. They'd need tissues, commemorative scarves, and a 2-hour press conference just to cope. But for us, it was Calmac doing what he always does. A tight match, a stubborn side sitting deeper than Rangers in any European away game, the crowd getting restless, and bang, there's the captain, trusting his instinct, leathering the ball like he used to back in his garden as a wee lad, and suddenly the away end is bouncing like paradise on Derby Day. That's leadership you can feel. Not noise, not slogans, not fancy statements, just stepping up when it matters and saving the night. What I loved most was how he talked about it afterwards, calm, honest, with that wee grin he gets when he knows he's answered every question without saying a word. He knows exactly what this moment meant. Not just 3 points, a lift, a jolt, a reminder that even with everything swirling around the club, the heart of this team is still beating strong. and it came from the armband. It came from the lad who never hides. So here's what I want to ask you, and don't dodge this because it's a big one. After everything going on behind the scenes, do you think Calmac's late winner was just a brilliant goal? Or was it the moment that saved the squad's confidence from slipping into real trouble? Hit that subscribe button. Lads, let's gee it loldy till we hit 1,500 mad Celtic daffs.